you guys, and welcome to a new episode of A Better You. I'm your host, Fernanda Ramirez, and I'm so happy you clicked on this episode. I'm very excited to talk about this topic. It is one that is going to put you in a good mood, get you out of that slump that you've been in, and I feel like it's the perfect episode to listen pre-summer, midst spring, and overall just one that'll get you in the mood to have a hot girl summer. I'm not officially going to name this anything to do with summer, but you already know the vibes of it. We're having a good summer. Before we continue on, make sure you are subscribed to the podcast YouTube channel at A Better You. You're following the Instagram account at abetteryou.byfernanda. You're following this podcast on Spotify or Apple or any streaming platform. For starters, sorry there was no episode last week and the week before that. Last week was Coachella, and there's a lot to discuss within that. But before Coachella, when I meant to upload a video, there was just so much happening here that I just didn't get around to doing it. And I feel so guilty because I've missed you guys. And then after Coachella, I think I tried to film another episode, but I was just so drained and tired that I couldn't get myself to do it. Anyways, you guys, let me tell you a little bit about Coachella. I want to give a little update. I want to tell you guys the tea, give you guys my little story time on how it was, and then we'll go on into the episode. So if you don't want to hear this little Coachella talk, maybe skip forward a little bit, but I feel like I have a lot to say. I've actually been going to Coachella for a few years now. This is my third year, and I made 2 videos about my Coachella experience the years past, and honestly, they're one of my favorite videos. Like, I really just had such a great time, and then while editing it, I had an even better time. And so I love posting those videos. And this year I ended up going with 𝘈 which is a skincare brand. And I was so happy to be going with them because they are an official brand sponsor of Coachella, which is like such an honor that I'm going with them, honestly. They provided such a great experience for me, and I was able to bring one of my friends from home. So I chose my friend Mayella, who is literally the most fun person ever, I think. Like, genuinely, when I hear the word fun, I think of her. So I'm so happy that she came with me. And having that said, putting my funnest friend with me as somebody who already I would consider to be a fun person, I'm literally talking about myself here, but put us together, and like, I actually think I had fun for 102 hours straight. So I documented so much of my experience on Instagram, on TikTok, on Snapchat. And so you guys will still see the YouTube portion of it that's going to come up. My experience with 𝘈 was wonderful. We stayed in such a beautiful hotel in Palm Springs, and Coachella was so much fun. Honestly, I love Coachella. I love listening to the artists beforehand. I love preparing. I love the outfits. I love going. There's always so much to do. It is so overstimulating. There is after parties, pre-events. Like, it is what some people considered the influencer Olympics, which sounds super stupid, but as an influencer, low-key, I love to see it. Like, it is really fun to be a part of. But anyways, I think a lot of influencers complain that it's not fun or that it doesn't feel, I don't know, as good as maybe they would have hoped to, just because it is, at the end of the day, still a music festival. If you don't like music festivals, you probably won't like Coachella. Also, it's what you make of it. If you don't like the artist, if you don't have a good time in those scenarios, you will not have a good time. And so for me, I actually really like the artist, and so I had literally the best time. Just to name a few performances that I saw, I loved seeing 𝘈 𝘉𝘦𝘵. Such a vibe. Like, he actually played Broccoli. If you know that song, you know that was like literally peak 16-year-old Fernanda experience. He was great. I saw J Balvin, which was super fun. It was giving Latin club. I saw Peso Pluma, which was really fun. I feel like all the little Latinos were having the time of their life there. I saw Lana, of course. She was beautiful, stunning, amazing, show-stopping. She literally brought out Billie Eilish, and that was insane. I saw No Doubt, and that's Gwen Stefani's band, and she brought out Olivia Rodrigo, which was crazy. I saw more, but I can't think of them off the top of my mind, so I think those were my favorites. But there was a few artists that I did miss out that I wish I saw, like Faye Webster, Sabrina Carpenter. I honestly didn't see much of Tyler, the Creator, or Doja Cat's full sets, but they were, good too. Anyways, there were so many artists there this year. I had a really good time there. I also just had a really good time, honestly, showing what the Coachella experience was like to my friend Mayella, just because it was her first time, and it kind of felt cool to just be like, I know where everything is, I know what the vibes are, I've been here a few times. So it was super fun. I had so many good laughs. I absolutely loved all of my outfits, and I feel like Coachella outfits, Coachella style is what I wish my style could be like all year round. Like, I want to look that good and extra all year round. And I say good because I got my nails done, I got a massage before I went, I was wearing all new clothes that were flattering and that I loved. I did my makeup really nicely. I I self-tanned. Like, I just felt on top of the world because all the beauty treatments were in check, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I felt good doing it. And also I got to reconnect with a lot of friends that I have met in previous years and new friends, which is always my favorite part. I feel like I'm a very social butterfly. So being in these social environments, although to some may be such a nightmare, to me, I feel overjoyed with happiness and extrovertedness. So I was having the time of my life. I would love to know if you guys are into music festivals or into concerts or whatever, and like what kind of artists you're listening to, because I feel like after this festival, I'm officially in my music era. I want to go to every festival and honestly, maybe a rave, maybe, I don't know. But like, I just want to have fun and do that all over again. So already I have planned Governor's Ball, which is a festival in New York in June. That should be really fun. And then I also want to go to the Calgary Stampede, which is a country festival in Calgary in the summer. So that's in Canada. That should be really exciting and fun. I'm low-key a little bit jealous that I didn't get to go to Coachella weekend 2 or Stagecoach, which is this upcoming weekend. But maybe it's for the best, because I swear after Coachella was over, my legs, my lungs, my skin, my eyes, everything was down bad. And again, that is no complaint. I loved every moment of it. And I 100% think that the pain was worth it. But like, I'm not kidding. On the Sunday of Coachella, I literally walked 25,000 steps. And then the following Monday when I got home, I walked like 200 steps. Like, the immediate drop in exercise or steps when I got home is astronomical. I've never even used that word, and I have to use that word because it was like 20,000 steps a day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then after I came home, I'm like, dude, I literally can't move. I even lost my voice for like 4 days following after the festival. So if that doesn't say something, I don't know what does. But that's to say that I had a super fun weekend, and it kind of inspired me to make this episode and to talk about how to welcome more fun into your life, how to make life a little bit more vibrant, a little bit more exciting, and how to be just overall a more fun person. I think it's worth noting that everyone's version of fun is different, and what would be fun to someone might not be fun to someone else. But I think we can all agree that sometimes we may be stuck with work a little bit too much, or we may be stuck on our bad habits, or maybe even we lose a little bit of our spark, and maybe we start to go down a hole of insecurity or self-doubt, and it kind of just waters down your ability to have fun, enjoy the moment, be present, and just live your life to the fullest. I really do think it does. And I feel like I've gone through phases where I'm a little bit, in a down bad period, maybe in a period where I'm focusing a little bit too much on things that don't matter, and I don't even let myself enjoy what is going on around me. And for that, I feel like this episode and conversation is one worth having. So I guess that gives us a smooth little transition into today's episode. In this episode, I want to talk about what it means to be fun, or at least in my eyes. I'm gonna preface that as well. This is completely biased. I could be wrong, but this could also be an open discussion. So like, if I say something that you don't agree with, you could 100% let me know. But in this episode, we're going to talk about what I think it means to be fun, how to gain back that sparkle and bring that fun out from within you, and truly just have a positive outlook on life, and how to make your life a little bit more vibrant and exciting. There are so many things that you can do to enhance the quality of life that you're living. And I truly think that in order to have a fun life, you need to be a fun person. You could be in the most fun place ever. For example, we're going to use Coachella in here. You could be in that situation and be completely miserable, be a negative little Nelly, be a ball of bad vibes, and just hate your time there. And I feel like a lot of influencers that complain that Coachella isn't fun, it's not because it's not fun, it's because they aren't fun. So having that said, I think if you change your outlook, you have a positive one, you see the bright side in things, you stop and smell the flowers, as some people say. I feel like that's a little quote or metaphor or whatever. If you are that person that does those kind of things, then you will have fun no matter where you go. You will be a bright light to be around, and people will want to be around you no matter what, because they know the qualities that you bring to the table, which could be just literally enhancing the vibe and making people's days and uplifting people's moods. Me personally, I think I want to make it a goal for myself, and I feel like I have done this for the past year, but I want to continue to do it, and especially into the summer, is I just want to have fun. I mean, obviously my job is creating content, and I feel like sometimes when creating content, you're on your phone a lot, you're taking videos a lot, and it's almost like it's taking you out of the moment. But I want to keep in mind and like keep that at the forefront, that if I want to put my phone down for something and just be in the moment and be present and have fun, that is also okay. And to actually create the memories, because the memories that you want, they are not going to create themselves. You have to make them happen. So I'm already excited for the summer. I'm excited for this spring. And before we go into the next thing, which I kind of want to talk about also some free activities that you can do this spring and summer that are fun, that are enjoyable, and that don't cost money. But before we go into that, I want to talk about the mindset shift and the kind of energy that we're going to bring the next few months of 2024. I feel like in order to have this vibrant and exciting life, you need to have an outlook where you're prioritizing joy and happiness and adventure and just living your life authentically. So having that said, I think it is important to shift your mindset into one that is going to prioritize those things and just daily reminding yourself to live your days in the present moment, looking for those little bits of happiness throughout the day that gives you that sense of joy, or maybe even prioritizing activities and friendships that honor those things that make you happy, and not just following someone else's footsteps into thinking that that's going to make you happy as well, but the things that truly make you happy. Also, since we are speaking of happiness, I think it is important to maybe even write down a list of things that you know make you feel good, that make you happy, that are fun for you, so that you get to know yourself and you get to then align yourself with things that, align with you back. I feel like I said that confusingly, but just getting to know yourself and what you consider fun and exciting. I feel like I have a perspective that prioritizes these types of things. Like, I feel like in my everyday life, I try to have a lot of fun. I try to seek out positive experiences and positive people. And so a lot of my episodes on my podcast kind of have that perspective or like that mindset as I'm talking about whatever the topic is at hand. So I feel like a lot of my episodes honestly can kind of relate to this topic. The episode that I just posted on embracing change and being okay with uncertainty, I feel like really goes hand in hand with this topic, since I do think that embracing change just gives you that growth and adventure that you may be looking for if you're listening to this episode. Or I have an episode on how to be like magnetic and have that social charisma, and I feel like that in itself gives you a chance to work on being a fun person so that all of your social interactions go well and happy and exciting, and you just become a more positive person. Or, those are just two examples, but I feel like a lot of my episodes kind of relate to having a more positive outlook on life or being a little bit more adventurous. One of the habits that I specifically think that all fun people possess, or something that I actively try to do, is to be open to new experiences. A lot of times getting outside of your comfort zone can seem kind of daunting, and when you already know that it's easier to stay home or to take the easier route, your comfort route, it's like, why would you even sacrifice that, to do something that is unknown? But a lot of the times you can just welcome this aspect of fun by being a little bit more spontaneous, by saying yes to whatever opportunities are thrown your way. I feel like it's that mentality of do it for the plot, which I feel like at times has, sometimes it can get you in trouble, but a lot of the times that's when the most fun memories are made. I feel like the do it for the plot mindset doesn't even have to be like a crazy night out or something like that some may consider fun. It could be like, you're walking around the city with no plan and you decide to do it for the plot and like head into a market that you've never seen or a part of town that you've never seen, and there's no reason for doing it, but it's just kind of exciting and fun to try something new and not do the same repetitive thing that you're known for doing or that you're used to doing. I feel like not only is it being a little bit more spontaneous or adapting to whatever comes your way, but it's tackling that new adventure with enthusiasm. Honestly, sometimes when I'm feeling a little bit bored or I'm feeling a little bit down, I have to like make myself be enthusiastic, but even being enthusiastic makes me more excited and more happy about the current moment, if that makes sense. I feel like it's kind of one of those things where when you're in a bad mood, people tell you that you should just smile, and it like actually lifts up your mood. I feel like they go hand in hand. Like, being enthusiastic about something makes the situation more fun. I also think if you struggle with being spontaneous and bringing an adventure into your life, being friends with people that have those qualities is what'll make you come out of your shell, because sometimes you even need a little bit of a pull. And even myself, I could consider myself fun in certain aspects, but in terms of like nature, and like one example in particular, maybe this is like jumping into a lake at a cabin, I could assume myself being the boring one, sitting on the corner being like, I don't want to get my hair wet. But sometimes I need those fun friends to tell me, Fernanda, you only live once, be in the moment, jump in that lake and be present and have fun. You only live once. One of those kind of moments. That helps me a lot. And so I definitely want to make it even my goal to make 2024 a little bit more spontaneous, or make friends that are more adventurous than I am, so I'm constantly being pulled to try new things. Another trait that I think fun people have is adaptability. And And that is a learned trait, I think. So that just means that you are able to be flexible with plans. If things change, you're okay with it. You can bounce back or maybe have a positive look on something if they don't go exactly as planned. And especially with being spontaneous, I think a lot of adaptability is needed for that kind of mentality. And so if you can teach yourself to be a little bit more go with the flow, take your hands off the brake and let whatever happens happen. Honestly, just letting the story unfold itself, I feel like that can help you in so many different ways and also cause less stress between you and your friends or even just you and yourself. Another way that I think you can have more fun in everyday life is by embracing playfulness, which I think I briefly touched on in my episode on how to be a little bit more charismatic, but I talked about being a little bit more playful in your interactions. And I feel like this is something that anyone can do, that you can try out. And I mean, if you're gonna go to a social event anytime this week or anytime in the future, you can test it out for yourself, but it's kind of bringing in elements that, are not expected. Maybe you say something in a conversation that you don't normally say. Maybe you bring up a topic that you don't normally talk about. Maybe you talk to someone that you normally don't talk to. Whatever it is, it's just kind of having a little bit of a carefree mindset and just playing around with the situation at hand. I feel like this is possible to do by engaging in conversations even with people that you normally don't talk to or someone that you feel like you have nothing in common with, but you're bound to bond over something during the conversation, but it's probably going to be funny by the way it plays out. And actually, this just reminded me of something, and I need to tell you guys about one of the stories that happened to me at Coachella. I'm gonna be so vague because you guys might know who I'm talking about. This weekend when I was at Coachella, me and my friend Maela were just talking to whoever. I feel like we are both people that like having conversations with people that we normally don't have conversations with. And I feel like we both have this playful mentality where she'll go off and say something crazy and then I'll play off of whatever she said, and then the other person may be kind of confused or they're playing along with it, and then we're all just kind of playing around with the interaction. Anyways, at Coachella, we talked to these people that have a very different aesthetic than we do, and they were kind of like goth, kind of like rock vibes. And me being a little aesthetic Pinterest matcha girly, talking to someone who's into heavy metal, rock, tattoos, that kind of vibe, we are so different that it's we're not even on the same playing field. And anyways, as we're having a conversation, literally I think I was just saying the most random things that would come off my mind because I'm okay, I don't even know what to say right now. And this person had piercings on their face, and they were wearing a hoodie with studs on it. And literally what came out of my mouth was oh my God, your piercings are so cool, which they genuinely were. But then I go on to say, I love the way that your piercings match your hoodie. Your hoodie has studs too. Did you plan that? And immediately after I said that, I was why did I just say that? What kind of question is that? Obviously, no, he didn't match his studs, his piercings on his face to his hoodie. But that was the only thing that came out of my mouth. And he didn't take it that weird. He kind of just laughed it off and was just what? Anyways, the point of me telling that story was that sometimes it's okay to put yourself out there and to say something random, say it with confidence. And it's kind of just a funny interaction. I feel like I could say something weird and maybe go home and be oh my God, what was I saying? That was so embarrassing. Why did I even bring that up? But you can kind of have that playfulness with it and not take yourself so seriously. And I think that that's what makes it fun. And I think for me and Maela specifically, when we came back from Coachella, we had so many funny stories to talk about and so many funny interactions to debrief because we were saying whatever was on our mind. We were talking to people that are so different from us and just having conversations that we would not be having on the day-to-day basis. There's really no reason for me to be in the same space as a super goth rock person. And not to say that I wouldn't be, it's just I'm usually not in the spaces where those people hang out. I don't know if that makes sense. But anyways, back to the original point. Engage in conversations with people that you normally wouldn't with. Don't take things so seriously if the conversation goes a little bit south or random, or you just say something weird or you kind of embarrass yourself. And overall, just approach situations and life with a sense of playfulness and curiosity. And honestly, I feel like I'm a very curious person, and I feel like even though I know that's what I am, knowing that and pointing it out makes me want to continue to be this curious person and ask people questions that I just genuinely find interest in. Questions about them that are a little bit more playful, a little bit more silly, and just ways to make the conversation a little bit lighter and welcome some laughs into it. Because honestly, that's another thing. I feel like I really prioritize, or not prioritize, but I love being around people that are funny, because as long as they're funny and I'm laughing, you're happy, you're in a good mood, you're in a good state, you're having fun. I don't think it's possible to be laughing and be in a bad mood. That just doesn't go hand in hand. So as long as I'm laughing, I'm having a great time, I'm having fun. And actually, that was going to be one of my points in this kind of like list of ways that you can have more fun. And it was going to be seek out laughter. So I feel like that goes hand in hand there. But welcoming humor into your everyday life is definitely a way to seek out some fun. And you can even do this by like going to a comedy show or watching comedians. I feel like I don't do that specifically, but maybe I'll get into it because like that would make me have fun. Or even just like I was saying, spending time with people that have a good sense of humor. And also, even though I just said this, I will reiterate it. It's okay to laugh at yourself too, and for yourself to be the joke. Honestly, the more that you can laugh at yourself, the less you care, and I feel like the more confident that you are. And being confident is fun. That just goes hand in hand. The more confident you are, the more you can let go, the more you are just enjoying your time. Another way that you can welcome fun into your life is by the way that you express yourself. Some forms of self-expression include dancing, written works, any form of art. It can be visual arts, music, fashion, photography, performing arts, crafts and DIY, digital media, cooking and baking, etc. Just there's so many ways to express yourself. And honestly, I just made a list of the ways that I feel like I express myself. And it kind of was a good food for thought question because I was like, I want to express myself in more ways. Like, how can I express myself more and showcase who I am authentically to the forefront? You know, how can I do that a little bit more? So I feel like that's something to consider as you're listening to this episode now. I challenge you to make a list and tell me the ways that you express yourself, and then think of ways that you can take that one step further. I feel like for me, I have fun expressing myself through the way that I edit my YouTube videos. A big one for me is like verbally. I feel like I process information and deliver information, obviously verbally, but like that is just one of my main forms. Like I'm definitely not someone that like writes paragraphs or writes articles or writes books. I'm definitely not someone that keeps their thoughts up in their head. I truly do love to yap, and I feel like my vocal cords is where I can express myself, whether that be through tone and like storytelling and through facial expressions and through body language. That is definitely a big form of my self-expression. As you know, I literally have a podcast and I am on every freaking platform of social media. Another way that I love to express myself is definitely through aesthetic, like beauty. I love dressing up. I love fashion. I love making the spaces around me look beautiful and making them colorful. Even I feel like I listed earlier, cooking and baking. I feel like whenever I make even like an acai bowl, you know, the way that you decorate the bowl with fruit and granola and toppings, it's a form of self-expression, right? Because everyone would have a different version of the same thing. So that's another one. I guess even making like playlists, like music, the music that you choose and the way that you curate is your form of self-expression. Also curating in general. I love curating, and I don't know if I've talked about that on the podcast before, but I definitely made a TikTok on this before, and it was just saying that I feel like I'm a professional vibe curator. I love curating things, and even something as simple as like an Instagram feed, that is at the end of the day another form of your self-expression. So that is the ways that I have fun doing it. But whatever way that you feel that you express yourself, keep doing that. Do it a little bit more so that you have fun with it, and also find new ways to express yourself. You can keep a journal or a diary, or you can write a blog. I feel like that is super fun. You can create music or write poetry. There's literally countless ways, and I feel like doing these things that bring you that sense of fulfillment and joy and just overall executing your passions will no doubtedly, is that how you say it? No doubtedly, I don't know. It will make you feel fulfilled. That's what I'm trying to say. I've said this throughout basically all of this episode, but another point that I want to make out is to actively seek friends that are positive. As we know, nobody wants to be around a Debbie Downer. If your friends are all Debbie Downers, try to make new friends. Try to make friends that have that lightheartedness in them. And if you yourself are the Debbie Downer, we've all been there. We've all been a little bit complainy sometimes. We've all been a little bit painful to be around. If that is you, try to actively change that. And not only will you attract more fun people and positive people into your life, people will want to be around you. They will try to actively attract you. And I feel like that's such a compliment, to be the one that wants to be attracted. Does that make sense? Spend time with people that uplift you, that energize you, and that enhance your mood, and actively make the activities that you choose to do with them more enjoyable. At the end of the day, fun people are just people that you want to be around. Another thing that I want to point out that may seem obvious is to genuinely just schedule in fun activities into your day-to-day life. That seems like a no-brainer, but I feel like sometimes when you get too busy, and maybe that's work or extracurricular activities that you do enjoy, yes, but it's more kind of like a mandatory thing, you can kind of forget to integrate those hobbies or those things that actually bring you joy. And so scheduling in time for that will 100% make you feel more fulfilled and overall live a more vibrant and exciting life. life. There's even times where I am doom scrolling, and that just means when you're on your phone for hours and hours on end, and it's like, okay, yeah, I'm having fun, I guess, scrolling, but like realistically, are you having fun? You're on your bed alone. You are bed rotting and being antisocial. Like that cannot be more fun than like going on a nature walk or having a picnic in the park or scheduling like a scrapbooking time. Like those other things where you're actually producing something and you're creating something out of nothing, using your imagination, using your creativity. Those are the things that are actually fulfilling and fun and make you a more interesting person, which is at the end of the day, I think what we all want to be. Maybe at the beginning of the week when you're planning out your journal or your calendar, your schedule, whatever, you can schedule in activities that will actively make you happier, and this will actually increase your dopamine and genuinely romanticize your life. Schedule those activities in ahead of time so that you know that you've made time for them and that they don't go, brushed under the rug. You actually get them done. Some free activities that you can do this spring and summer are doing anything creative. I know me and my friend Trinity, now that we're here in LA, we just bought a whole bunch of supplies to make a scrapbooking little like bullet journal thing, and I even bought a little printer that prints iPhone photos out, so we're gonna do that together, and I think that should be super fun. You could also have a board game night that is free and fun and such a good way to bond with other people or your family. And it's kind of like a brain game, and like low-key we could all use a little bit of a brain game, You can cook or bake or do like a cooking and baking challenge. One thing I want to say here is if you're watching this video and maybe you've seen videos on YouTube that are like challenge videos, there's one challenge I think going around on YouTube right now where it's like one person is deaf, so they plug their ears and they're listening to music. One person is blind, so they have a band wrapped around their eyes, and one person is mute, so they have like tape over their mouth, and they all try to bake something together and they film it, and it's like really funny, so they post it on YouTube, whatever. Just because those are trends that people are posting on YouTube, that does not mean you cannot do that trend just for your own enjoyment and for your own fun. You could even do a challenge like that, film it for yourself, and it doesn't even need to go anywhere, but that's something that is so much fun and you can do yourself. I speak for myself here, but sometimes I watch challenges or fun things on YouTube or on TikTok, and I feel like a lot of people have this thing, where you're the watcher and you're watching other people live their best life, and it almost seems like, you're not a YouTuber, you're not a TikToker, you're not a creator, so why would you do it? But it's like, you can also do those things. And they're so much fun, like genuinely. That's why people enjoy watching them, because they're actually fun to do. So if you see those challenges or those cool activities or those cool recipes, don't just feel like you're just a watcher and those are not things that are unrealistic for you to do. You can actually make those things happen. So that's a fun challenge for you to do. But any challenge in general like that, or even like, a drunk get ready with me, or that's a little crazy, but like a drinks night where everyone makes their own drinks, or a cooking night where everyone cooks their own dish, or you host a dinner or you host a breakfast, all of those fun things that you feel like you wouldn't actually do, make the effort to actually do them because they would be super fun. You could even volunteer, you can try out a new DIY craft, you can go stargazing. Keep in mind, most of these are free because you might even have the things at home, but if you do want to spend a little bit more money or get some stuff, that could also be fun. Like, I just feel like something about buying something new to do is fun, but that just might be my toxic trait and I just like buying things. But you can definitely find all these things in your house. You can go to the library or the bookstore. That is one of my favorite free activities because I don't buy anything and I just sit there and read the books. You can have a movie marathon, or even showing your hobbies or your interests to a family member or a friend. I feel like when you share things that bring you enjoyment with someone else and then they end up enjoying it, that is just like the ultimate fun day. I also want to say here that you should make a list or a little manifestation journal, a little scripture of what your perfect day looks like. What does it look like to have the most fun day in your life? It could even be exaggerated, but what does that day look like? And then ask yourself, why are you not doing those things today? What is stopping you today from living your best life and doing those things that would bring you joy? Another tip I want to point out to having more fun is simply being present in the moment. I've kind of brought that up a few times throughout this episode, but I feel like especially in the age of social media, in the digital world, it's so common for us to do something fun, but genuinely be thinking about like documenting it, or you have your phone out so you're not fully being present, or maybe you're thinking about the future, you're thinking about the past, you're just not there in the moment creating that memory. And especially for me as a content creator, I hang out with a lot of other content creators and sometimes we're doing super fun activities, but like I'm a culprit of it myself, so I'm not saying I'm not any better, but there's been times when I look around and everybody's like so on their phone, they're so busy taking content, like that is the number one priority over having fun. And it's it's like, what are we doing? Like, yes, we want that content, but at the same time, we should be living in the moment, experiencing this for what it is and making that memory. And if that means sometimes not documenting it, sometimes that's what you need. Sometimes you just gotta live in the moment, which you would think is obvious, but as someone who is a content creator and hangs out with content creators, sometimes it's really not. So I'm going to say that out loud, even for myself, or if there's anyone listening to this episode that kind of resonates with that. I think being in the present is very important and something that we all need a little gentle reminder of. Anyways, I think I'm going to end this episode off here. The last thing I want to say is just that, guys, we have the chance to do whatever we want with our lives. It would be a shame to have our days be mundane, to not sprinkle in bits of joy and to seek positive experiences day to day, because the way we spend our days is the way we spend our life. And that is a quote that I see circulate all the time on TikTok, on Pinterest, on Instagram, on whatever. And it's something to really take note of. If every day you're on your phone, you're not being in the present moment, you are bored, you are bed rotting, you are doom scrolling, you are not being productive, you're not producing anything, you're not being creative, you are not expressing yourself genuinely, those are the days that are forming your life. And you're only diving yourself deeper into a hole, and we do not want that. I truly have a good feeling about 2024 summer and spring, and I feel like everyone's excited. Literally in my head right now, I have the soundtrack of Sexy Red being like, bow, 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 if you know what I'm talking about. I'm kind of going a little bit off tangent here, but that song is like the song of the summer, I feel like, and it is so much fun. And why is it fun? Because she's playful with it, because it is experimenting, because it is genuinely for the purpose of joy. Anyways, with that being said, I'm welcoming joy this year. I hope you're welcoming joy as well. I hope that you welcome more fun into your life, more spontaneity, more adventure, and you just say yes a little bit more often. You never know how far a yes can take you, and I feel like fun has no age limit. You can have fun no matter how old you are and no matter what your version of fun looks like. And if it's different from mine, that is completely okay. And if it's the same as mine, let's have fun together. But genuinely. Anyways, I love you guys. I hope you enjoyed listening to this episode. I miss you guys. And last final update, I'm having a blast in LA. I actually come home soon next week and I want to cry because I want to live here. But anyways, I love you guys and I will talk to you very soon.